Good morning, all you caterpillars and butterflies. This is Heather, the Butterfly Effect Raw Vegan Weight Loss. And I'm thinking today about pain, unfortunately. This weekend was super nice weather here in the Pacific Northwest, and it got me thinking about my garden. I had to get my two more beds in. So last year I put in two 4x4 raised beds, and I did them double high. So I got two kits and did them, higher so that the plants would have a deeper foundation of soil to build their root systems, and that worked really well for me. And it's a little bit of an investment. I think it was about $100 for the two actual physical structures that make the bed, and then probably another $100 for all the compost and topsoil and stuff that you need to get those, filled in, because that's pretty substantial when you build it up that high. But I swear it totally pays off. I think it's such a good idea for anybody who is a raw vegan to grow a lot of their own produce, mainly because of freshness. It's an investment in your health. When I pick some kale from my garden and then it goes into my blender like 2 minutes later, that is super fresh. It's super full of life and enzymes and vitamins and minerals, and I can just tell that that has got a lot that it's doing for my body. And God dropped us in a garden. He put us in a garden. We're supposed to be gardeners if you possibly can, and I know I'm lucky. Always I've rented houses or I've lived places where I couldn't have a garden, and so this is such a treat for me. I bought a house right about a year ago, a year and change, and the first thing I did was put in my gardens. And then this year, I put in two last year, so then this year I'm putting in two more. Well, I went and I got all excited, and I went to the garden store and I loaded up 9 50-pound things of organic compost planting mix, and I hurt my back because each of those are 50. That was dumb. That was just dumb. So I didn't even get to put them in my garden because my back hurt too much, and I wasn't able to sleep last night, and it's not fun. I did my morning walk this morning because I always say exercise is not optional. Gotta do it no matter what. But it was hurting. It was really hurting. And so I wanted to talk really quickly about what I do for pain, because I don't have to tell those of you who have, 100 pounds to lose, or 150 or 200 pounds or more like me, that it's extremely painful to be that overweight. It's super hard on your joints. It just causes a lot of things to be out of kilter, and it hurts. It hurts. So for the longest time, I would now say addicted. I would say, I've been prescribed ibuprofen. Luckily, I have never liked narcotic drugs. I hate that feeling. I hate that spaced out high feeling. So thank God for that, right? With my addictive personality, wow. So I never got hooked on any kind of narcotics, but I would take ibuprofen, 600 milligrams. I thought I was being good by not taking 800 every day for years, at least 20 years, probably closer to 30 years. I took that every day, and sometimes more than once a day, because I had plantar fasciitis, I had back pain, I had knee pain, I had all kinds of problems. And that all came to a very abrupt halt. Last December, I woke up in the middle of the night and I thought I was having a heart attack. I had pain right in the middle of my chest and back and belly, just like they say women have, some kind of different symptoms. and it woke me out of a deep sleep, and it was just horribly painful. I went and sat in my recliner for a little while, and I took ironically an aspirin, because that's what they say to do if you're having a heart attack. So I went and took an aspirin, and I waited to see if it was just indigestion, was it just heartburn, what was going on there, and it got worse, not better. So that was about 3 in the morning. At about 5, when it hadn't gotten any better, I went and woke up my sister and said, "You need to take me to the emergency department." Now the right thing to do would have been to call an ambulance. If I truly thought I was having a heart attack, I should have called an ambulance, but I didn't. I asked her to drive me. At least I didn't drive myself. And I got in, and they determined I wasn't having a heart attack, but instead, all those years of taking NSAID pain relievers, namely ibuprofen, I had given myself a hole in my stomach and another one in my esophagus. Probably from all the acid coming up, and I had damaged myself really badly. And so abruptly, overnight, I couldn't take those ever again. And I've never been able to take Tylenol, because when I was a baby, or like a little kid, I had overdosed on, kids Tylenol that tasted good. So I've never been able to take Tylenol, and now I couldn't take ibuprofen. And I had a lot of pain. I mean, without those medicines, I had inflammation just all over my body. All over. And so it was really depressing. It was super depressing. I felt like I'm never going to be able to exercise again. I'm never going to be able to feel good again, ever, period. So what I did was I researched what foods were anti-inflammatory, and I substituted those things. And what I came up with is, and I'm not a doctor. I don't even play one on TV. I'm not giving medical advice. This is just what I determined has been helpful for me, and you can take it or leave it. But the spice turmeric, you can get it as a root, and I get it as a root at my local health store, and it looks exactly like ginger, except for it's orange. It's bright orange, and like a pumpkin color. And ginger itself, which is a cousin of the turmeric, I use that also, and I juice those. Be careful when you juice it though, because it is ginger is pretty spicy and everything, and I found out the hard way that if you do too much ginger, it hurts when you go pee. It burns. So anyway, just a little cautionary tale on that one. But so in order to get the amounts that I need to have a therapeutic effect, I do take supplement capsules. Now, I made sure that the capsules that I take are nothing but the ground up whole food. I don't want, some people just make a capsule that is curcumin, which is supposedly the active property in the turmeric. And while that's great, I believe in using the whole food. So that's what I take, is ground up turmeric, and it has bioperine in it too, which is a black pepper with it that makes it work harder and is more effective. That's what I've been told. I'm really a little wary of supplements in general, because there's been a lot of stories in the news recently about supplements that don't have, that were found to not have any of the product that they say that they have on the label. And that really depresses me, because these things are expensive. I get mine through Vitacost.com. I find them to be really reasonable, and they have great customer service, and they have a little bit higher dosages than what I found in the grocery store, and they have organic products. So if you are looking into supplementing, you might want to check them out. But that has helped me a lot. And then avocado has, you can look up online anti-inflammation things, but the things that have been the most helpful for me are avocado, and I do pineapple. And then the best thing that you can do is take away the inflammatories. For me, the things that were causing me inflammation are definitely dairy, to a lesser extent meat, although I haven't, eaten meat in a long time, and sugar, and all flour. So definitely gluten, but I'm finding that I have problems even with the gluten-free grains. So I just don't do them. I just don't do them at all. And so anyway, if you take away the things that were causing the inflammation, that helps a ton, and then take the anti-inflammatories for what's left over. And then right now, since I hurt my back, I'm doing, the acronym is RICE, for anytime you get an injury. So that's rest, ice, compression, and elevation. Well, you can't really do the compression and elevation with the back like you would with a knee or an ankle, but I'm just definitely resting my back and definitely using ice and sometimes using heat. And I'm just gonna take it really easy. When you hurt yourself and there's pain, it's because your body's saying, hey, don't do too much. It's, hey, dummy, quit it. But I also do believe in still walking. There have been some studies that say that if you hurt your back, you're better off doing some gentle walking around and movement than staying in bed. So I'm going to be trying to get better, and I will show you the before and after with my gardens going in, and show you my little greens beds. My greens are starting to come in now, so that's exciting. But I hope you have a great Monday and a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. I hope you're pain-free. Have a great week. Bye-bye.